The world's biggest bank heist and the world's biggest car theft are both committed by North Korea, and they got away with it. And those are just the number 5 and number 4 on our list. Let's learn more. This is a Swedish Volvo from the 70s, in perfect condition. You can find hundreds of these on the streets of Pyongyang, North Korea's capital. How did it get there? Well, in the decades after the Korean War, North Korea was actually the richer of the two Koreas, surprisingly to me. And at one moment, Sweden saw a business opportunity, a great new potential export market. A trade deal was signed and 1,000 Volvos were shipped to North Korea. But Sweden made one mistake. They didn't ask for the cash up front. Conditions in North Korea changed and they simply decided to ignore Sweden and not pay the bill, but keep the cars. Even now, Sweden reminds them twice a year to pay up, but they're being ignored. And something tells me that after 40 years, they're not going to get their money back. With 1,000 cars stolen, this was by far the biggest car theft in history. And look, this was the most normal thing on this list. The next one is even crazier and far more impressive. The year is 2016, and employees in the Central Bank of Bangladesh are coming back from the weekend. But nothing in their office is working, and they cannot access the transaction list. Hours pass, and they finally get the system going, only to see that almost $1 billion are missing from their account. The country of Bangladesh just lost $1 billion. The majority of the money was recovered, but over $80 million were gone forever. By the looks of it, they were withdrawn in the Philippines and then sent to Macau, where all trace is lost. This was done by the Lazarus Group, an elite North Korean hacker unit. This is how they did it. They've used an attack known as spear phishing. It means targeting an individual from a bank, usually sending them an email that looks regular to anything else they would receive. If they don't pick up that there's anything strange with this email, you could gain access to their system. Even then, there are so many defenses in place. And yet, they've managed to get through them and infest the entire bank system. This was months before the attack. After that, they've planned every single detail. You know what's really crazy? They went through all this planning and they've succeeded for the most part. And yet, they would have gotten 20 million more because one of the transactions was going for Sri Lanka to the account of a made-up foundation. But last minute, the transaction was stopped. And the reason it was suspicious? Someone misspelled the word foundation. They spelled it as foundation. And look, this could happen to me, but that's why no one recruits me to be a sophisticated elite hacker. So it's sort of funny that these people can do all this stuff that is honestly like, it's bad, but it's amazing. And then they simply make a spelling mistake and it cost them 20 million. So with almost $1 billion stolen in one point and 80 million stolen for good, this makes it by far the biggest bank heist in history. So I guess North Korea has 2 world records. After 2016, North Korea's hacking capabilities have improved significantly. Lazarus is just one of many different groups they have. But the thing they're targeting now is crypto and NFTs. The thing is, it's so much easier. It's less regulated than bank transactions, so it's harder to stop them, and it's easier to hack. So far, only the cases that have a high likelihood of being North Korean add up to billions of dollars. For example, they once took $600 million from a stupid NFT video game. They do this in many different ways. Sometimes they use spear phishing methods that we've talked about before, but sometimes, and quite often, they go undercover. Their engineers pretend to be programmers from the US or Canada that are working remotely, and they apply for jobs in these companies. Once they land a job, they learn everything they can about the system from within, and they also have an easy way of infecting it. After they have done what they wanted, they just disappear. And they have a strong reason to do this. Since they are under sanctions, they really need foreign currency in order to buy things internationally. Even the things they buy on the black market need foreign currency. So if they want to buy systems for their rockets, or tractors for their fields, or air conditioners, or whatever they need, they really need foreign currency. And hacking is a great way to get it. Up until recently, I couldn't imagine that they would be so successful at it, but after researching it, I think I have a good understanding why that is. But that will probably be a topic for another video. So if anyone's interested in finding out how North Korea became very, very effective at hacking, just write it down in the comments or give this video, I don't know, some likes. I don't know how much. It doesn't really matter. But still, if anyone's interested, just let me know. I would love to make it. The second thing is actually people. Technically, it's called kidnapping. This might be an insensitive way to talk about it. When I started making this video, I knew about the story how they kidnapped a Japanese director in order to make a kaiju movie, something like Godzilla. And eventually the director was in Berlin for a film festival and he got away. But actually, there's so much more to North Korea's kidnappings. It's estimated that they have kidnapped thousands and thousands of people, mostly from South Korea and Japan. People were kidnapped in Lebanon. A Korean couple was almost kidnapped on Yugoslavian soil. And at least it is alleged that a lot of ethnic Koreans were kidnapped from the territory of China and put back to Korea. Mostly the people that were helping defectors get out of North Korea. And one time, they even stole an entire plane, just flew off, hijacked it, and took it to North Korea. And the reasons they did this were so bizarre. Sometimes they would kidnap famous film directors and actors in order to make North Korean movies. Other times it would be different kinds of artists, but most of the time they were regular people that would later train North Korean spies, teach them the language, the way things work. I mean, I guess they didn't have the internet back then. So a lot of these kidnapped people would work in North Korea's spy schools, thousands of them. And they would kidnap them in different ways. Sometimes they would simply sneak up on a boat next to a coast and take people, which sounds sort of cartoonish. Other times it will be more elaborate by luring them to neutral places like Hong Kong, where they would kidnap them and put them on a ship. That was the case with the director. All in all, it's a really crazy thing. I have no other way of describing it. Remember how I said that North Korea has a problem? The country is under sanctions and lacks foreign currency. Well, they're creative, so they decided to borrow someone else's currency. During the 90s and the early 2000s, North Korea printed millions and millions of so-called superdollars, an almost identical perfect dollar. No one really knows how many superdollars are out there. The reason they're called superdollars is because some of them are believed to be too good. See the bottom of this lamppost in the original $100 bill? Well, the North Koreans sort of improved it. Now the line goes all the way down. As a result, the United States redesigned the dollar in 2013. But still, the old dollars are accepted currencies. So if North Korea wanted to, they could still print superdollars. But as far as we know, that's not the case. So this is the number one thing. They've managed to print their rival's strongest weapon, the dollar. It was so much fun researching this video, and North Korea is honestly a lot more different than I imagined. If there are people that enjoyed this, I could make a video about their hacker army. It's so interesting. So anyway, I hope you had fun and maybe learned something new. If you want to support a small channel, feel free to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it's the only way that the YouTube algorithm can notice small channels like mine. If you're interested in my other videos, here are two that YouTube thinks you would like. If YouTube is right, I don't know, but you can find out. And most important of all, I wish you all the very best and hope you have an amazing week. See you next time.